Hello everyone, I am Piyush Goyal and I welcome you to Voxcel's YouTube channel. So in this video we will talk about true, false, not given. Basically this is another video in this particular series. We have uploaded more such videos, so if you want to see them you can watch them and it will help you to clarify your doubts. Before going there, just focus on this particular video. So without further ado, let's dive right in. So first we will read the passage. Title of the passage: Have researchers created synthetic life at the J. Craig Venter Institute? So this is a particular paragraph considering the information that whether the scientists were able to create synthetic life in this particular institute or not. So in this we will be dealing with such kind of information. So what we will do, we will not read the paragraph in the beginning. Before that we will go straight to our questions and we will read the instruction words first. Do the following statements agree with the information given in the text? True, false, not given. So we have to write true, false or not given in these questions. So if you are not sure when to write true, false or not given, you can watch my previous video in which we have described clearly how to do that. I will just give you an overview. So true when the statement matches the information, false when the statement contradicts information, not given when there is no information to be found. So first question, DNA was also injected into animals. So when this question will be true, when the DNA also means plus one, like DNA was injected in like some other species and it was also injected into animals. So if it was also injected into animals, we will say true. But if it wasn't injected in the animals, it was injected in like only some other species only, we will say false. But if we don't have information whether it was injected into animals or whether it was injected into like any particular species, we will say not given. So let's read from the beginning. Researchers often insert a gene. So here's something about insertion. Insert a gene or two into an organism. So they are inserting genes into organism in order to make it do something unique. For example, researchers inserted the insulin gene into bacteria in order to make them produce human insulin. However, researchers at J. Craig Venter Institute (JCVI) in Rockville, MD have now created organisms that contain a completely synthetic genome. This synthetic genome was designed by computer, resulting in the first self-replicating species whose parent is a computer, as stated by Dr. Venter, the lead scientist on this project. So we are inserting the genes, but it is being inserted in an organism, not into animals. And we don't know whether we have inserted into animals or not because there is no information on that. They are just saying they often insert, but other times like they often do this, but what about other times, we don't know about that. So if it was written like, for example, if it was written researchers only insert a gene or two in an organism, like only means not any other species but only organism like microbes or something like that, so we will say false. But we don't have any other information on this, so we will say this information for this particular thing, we will have no information on this, and answer is not given. Moving on to the second question, bacteria have been made to produce insulin. So I guess we have read something about it, but we will read it again because we are not so sure about that. So when the question will be true, when bacteria is made to produce insulin. So when bacteria is forced to produce insulin, we will say true. When it will be false, when bacteria is not forced to do something, maybe it is doing producing insulin on it by itself without any external pressure, when it will be not given, when we don't know whether bacteria is producing insulin or not. So it was something here. For instance, researchers inserted the insulin gene into bacteria in order to make them produce human insulin. So from here, just wait a second. From here to here, it is clear that bacteria we were inserting, or researchers are inserting insulin gene into bacteria so that they should produce human insulin. Meaning to say, we are making them do this. We are forcing them to produce insulin by inserting particular genes in them. Otherwise, they would not have done so. So have been made, yes, they have been made, we were forcing them, so I'll say this answer should be true. Next question, tryptophan is one example of an amino acid. So this is particular example of amino acid. So what is good about this type of question is that this name cannot be paraphrased, because this is a particular scientific name. It will be written as it is. So until or unless we find this name, we can skim through our text quite quickly. However, we haven't read any tryptophan in this particular. We have read this. In essence, with the JCV scientists to the genome one business species M myocards, we don't have to concern ourselves with the correct pronunciation of scientific names. We'll just focus on other, synthesize it from scratch and then transplant it into different discs. We haven't found that tryptophan. Until or unless we have found that particular word, we will skim through our text, because true false not given, they are in sequence, so we will not miss any other text until or unless it's a not given, because DNA contains nitrons. We haven't found even the amino acids, for that matter, which are expressed strands of the DNA, which is a code and can be altered without affecting the final organism. Okay, we have read up till here, but we haven't found any of that. So instead of going further, let me read the question. Bacteria were taught to spell. I haven't read any information of that. Also, the four bases of the DNA code A, C, G, T, A, C, G, and T can combine into triplets to code for 20 amino acids. Okay, here is a particular word, amino acid. So now we will see here, as well as start and stop instruction for gene expression. These amino acids are designated by a single alphabetical letter. For example, here is our keyword. Let me mark it like this. For example, tryptophan is designated by this. So these amino acids are designated by single alphabetical letter, and for example, this particular amino acid is an example, and it is denoted by designated by letter W. So yes, this particular thing is an example of amino acid. So we'll say true. Next question, bacteria were taught to spell. When this question will be true, when bacteria were we were teaching bacteria through different techniques or methods so that they should be able to spell some words or alphabets. When the question will be false, when we were not teaching them to spell, or when we were doing something so that they should spell something. When it will be not given, when bacteria are spelling something but we don't know why they are spelling, did we teach them, or did we use another method to make them spell. Let's see. So we continue from here. Thus, by using amino acid alphabet, the JCVI researchers were able to insert sequences of DNA that were specifically designed to spell out the names of study authors, project contributors, web addresses, and even includes quotation from James Joyce and Richard Feynman. Okay, so this is our location. So the question is saying we were teaching bacteria, but no, here they are saying the JCVI researchers were able to insert sequences of DNA that were able to specifically design to spell out names. So these are the names: authors, project contributors, web addresses, and even include quotations from these two people. So we were not teaching them, but researchers were like inserting DNA. They were changing their genetic structure so that they were able to spell some words, but it is not teaching. Okay, it's something else. It's other than teaching. It's changing their structure, like mutations, something like mutations. Fuel is already being produced using genetically altered algae. So when the question will be true, when we are producing fuel by altering algae, like we are inserting some sort of genes, or we have modified this particular structure of algae and it is used to produce fuel, when the question will be false. When we are not using algae to produce fuel, or when we are producing fuel from algae but it is not genetically modified, it is doing it naturally in its natural stage, or we are not producing it yet, because already means now, and maybe we are not producing it now, maybe in the past we were doing that, but or maybe in the future, something like that. When it will be not given, when we don't know anything about able to produce fuel from algae, or why we will be able to produce, or why we are able to produce from algae. Okay, moving forward. Such engineering helped clarify that the M. capricornum genome is completely synthetic and not a product of natural bacterial growth and replication. Over 1 million total bases were inserted into M. capricornum. The final result was a bacterial cell that originated from M. capricornum but behaved and expressed the proteins of M. mycoides, whatever the name is. This synthetic bacterium was also able to self-replicate, a fundamental quality of life. We are not given anything about fuel or algae, so we'll move forward. The demonstration of that completely synthetic genome can be used to start synthetic life promises other exciting discoveries and technology. For example, photosynthetic algae. So this is information about algae could be transplanted with genomes that would enable these organisms to produce biofuel. So this is our location. So in this particular sentence they are saying it could be used and it would enable them to produce biofuel, meaning to say these are all hypotheticals, these are all just scenarios for the future, but we are not producing it right now, but this is a possibility for the future. But question is saying already producing? No, we will be able to produce if that's the case, but it will happen in the future. It is not the case right now at present, so the answer should be false. Moving forward to the next question, sixth. The research team gave money to ExxonMobil. So here this particular team, they gave okay, they gave money to this particular organization or team. So when the question will be true, yes, when the question will be true, when this particular team gave money to this particular institute, ExxonMobil, when the question will be false, when this team didn't give money to this, maybe someone else gave money to this, or maybe it's vice versa, like ExxonMobil gave money to the research team. When the answer will be not given, when we don't know anything about who funded who. Okay, we don't have any information on the money. So let's see what is the, okay, this is the keyword ExxonMobil. The ExxonMobil Research and Engineering Company has already worked out an agreement with Synthetic Genomics, the company that helped funded the JCVI research team, to start such a project. So this team research, okay, just one second. So this research team is not funding anyone. In fact, they are being funded because these particular research organization or research company, they worked an agreement with this particular company so as to fund this. Okay, so this is team is not funding this team. In fact, this team is with like collaboration with this team is funding this team. So the answer of this should be false. Last question, the synthetic bacteria can only replicate for several generations. When the answer will be true, when synthetic bacteria has the capability to replicate, meaning to say reproduce, regenerate for several generations, not for one or two generations, but for like many generations. When the answer will be false, when it is just able to replicate for like one generation, when or it cannot replicate at all, so we need something else to do that. And when it will be not given, when we don't have any information either on its replication capability, okay, or for how many generation it can replicate. Let's see the information. While some researchers agree that technical feat of the JCVI team is astounding, detractors point to the difficulty creating more complicated organisms from scratch. Other researchers point to the fact that some biofuels are already being produced by microorganisms while the genetic engineering of a handful of genes. And Dr. David Baltimore, a leading geneticist at Caltech, has countered the significance of the work performed by JCVA research team, stating that its lead researcher Dr. Venter has not created life, only mimicked it. Okay, there is no information about replication or for how many generations they can replicate. So for because of that, we will say the answer should be not given. So this is how you should solve these questions, and if you are able to do like this, you will get the answers correct every time without fail. Let's just check the answers first. Not given, true, true, triple false, not given, not given, true, true, triple false, not given. So one more thing, I have seen many students make this particular mistake is that when they see these like three false or three trues or three not givens in sequence, they will think that they must have made some mistake, because it cannot happen, like there can't be three questions in a row that are true or not given or false. But that is not the case, anything can happen. So if you are confident in yourself, if you have the confidence that whatever you are reading correctly, and you are following whatever the way I am teaching, and if you are able to understand the words clearly, your answer will be correct. Two true, three truths, or three false, three not givens can come in your exam also, so don't need to worry about that. And if you want our help, you can watch our all other videos. We have also uploaded videos of like Cambridge books also, and we are going to upload more such videos like that. Or you can contact us. I'm gonna leave the link to my website in the description box. You can contact us there. We will be happy to help you. We have courses, a video course available for you. If you want to get band 7 or more in reading, listening, writing or speaking, we will be happy to help you. Many of students who are struggling to get band 7 or more in writing and speaking, we have helped them. So we have lot of positive responses. So if you are stuck at like 6.5 or 6, you are not able to get this 7, all elusive 7, contact us. We will tell you how to do that. So with this, I'm gonna take your leave. I will see you in the next video. Till then, take care and goodbye.